Hi folks, welcome back again. Myself and Riley here again, chatting shite. Obviously last week's one, Friday night there, that was a bit far too long for what we were anticipating. But once you start talking football and fantasy football, we just, especially with some drinks and beers, and you just kind of rattle on. So we're going to make it into two parts, hopefully every week. The first part, hopefully every Tuesday night, basically just reviewing everything from the games on Sunday and fantasy matchups on Sunday, and then again on one on Friday, just previewing everything for the Sunday coming up, basically. So I think it should work better that way, break it up a bit, hopefully cut it down to like half hour, 40-minute videos each. So,
and if you have a listen, make a wee note in the WhatsApp group so we actually know that there is people actually listening other than Gary.
Although I think somebody did listen because they put in Hilton that I kind of tipped, so they might have not made it all the way through, but somebody started Hilton anyway, so maybe they listened, or maybe it's just a coincidence.
Never know.
At least they never listened to our Vikings prediction, so. But no, so to start off today, we're going to just review our bets, tips, basically, that we come up with. So first one was the Broncos against the Panthers. I took the Panthers cover the spread and the over, and Riley took the Panthers cover the spread and the under. The Broncos won, so none of us get the Panthers up, and it hit the over, so I got the over. So only the over that came in.
So I got a big zeal for
next game was the Bears against the Texans. I went Bears and over. Riley went Texans spread and under, and the Bears won and it hit the under, so I obviously had the Bears. Riley had the under, so it's kind of half point each, 1 point each.
I'm going to mark these out of 32, by the way. I like to see how many I actually get.
Next game, Cowboys against the Bengals. I took the Cowboys -3 and the over, and Riley took the Cowboys -3 and the under. Again, I got the Cowboys correct, but at the under, so Riley got both of them correct.
I'm only giving myself 1.5 here because I only took Dallas. I don't think I took the main. I don't think I took the spread, so I'll give myself 1.5 for that because I did take Dallas.
On to the Jags against the Titans. I took the Titans to cover the spread and the over. Riley took the Titans spread and under, and Riley got both, and I got the Titans. Chiefs Dolphins next. I was very proud of the Dolphins in this game, but I took the Chiefs. Well, we both took the Chiefs to win, not to cover the spread, and I took the under. Riley took the over. Again, Riley gets both, and I just get the Chiefs. And a little tidbit on that one, Riley did say he did call over 60 points in that game, and there was, I'm sure it was bang on 60 points.
So I was wrong. Fuck.
And the over
technicalities.
50.5. So
we'll call it 59.5. I predicted over 59.5.
Giants Cardinals next. I was way off in this one. I took the Giants to cover the spread and the under. Riley took Cardinals just to win and the over. So Riley got the Cardinals. I got the under. So yeah, one apiece there.
Skip this next one.
I skipped this one. We both were shite. So
big fat zero.
Bucks against Vikings. We both took the Vikings to cover the spread and the over. And that was just the opposite way.
Can it always be?
Raiders Colts next. We both took the Colts on the spread and the under. We both got the spread Colts, but it had the over, didn't it?
No, it had the bang on my note.
Was that the bang on one?
I had the under.
Raiders Colts was fucking like 78 80 points.
Am I reading the wrong one? Aye, fuck.
44-27. So
well,
we both got the Colts to cover the spread on that one.
Aye.
Next one, we both had the exact same, Seahawks against Jets. We both had Seahawks to win and to hit the under. So that we both got both in that one. Lions Packers. Drew the Packers spread and the over. Riley the Packers just to win and the under.
So this was the one that hit bang on the...
Aye, this was the one that hit bang on the spread. And the Packers covered the spread as well, so we both won that one, but my odds were better as they covered the spread. But I'm sure when it hits the... See betting wise, if it hits the spread, I'm sure that still counts as a win. But I can't remember because it's not happened in a while.
Aye, I'll not do it.
Just keep it as without anyways. Next we had the Chargers and Falcons, and we both took the exact same. Both went for the Chargers to cover and the under, and we both got both of that correct.
Well, see, I disagree here because I had Chargers +3, and the Chargers only won by 3 in the bets that the odds that I took. So we were bang on the one. A bit of shit, but I'll go with your one. See, we get them best right. It's fine.
Aye, we deserve it after the Vikings won. So, Eagles Saints next. Riley will be a happy man with the real life stuff of this, but not the bet. We both went. Well, I went for the Saints to cover the spread. Riley just went for the Saints to win, but we both went for the under, and we both get fuck all in that one because it was the Eagles in the over.
We were only far off though because it was a late touchdown.
Aye.
Minute or whatever it
was. Last of the proper Sunday games, 49ers Washington. We were both different in this one. I took 49ers to cover and the under. Riley took Washington to cover and the over. Riley got Washington just to win, and what was the one for that? 20, 30, 38. I actually went for the over. So you got Washington to win and I got the under. Late night games. Late night game was the Bills against the Steelers. Took the Steelers to cover and the over. Riley took the Bills to cover and the over. Riley got both correct there. And I got the one just over. No, wait a minute. Hit the under that one, didn't it? I hit the under on that. So you do. It was just yourself. Just yourself with a 1 point for the Washington there. Monday Night Football, last night's game, the Browns against the Ravens. I took the Browns to cover and the under, so I was nowhere near. Riley took the Ravens to cover and the over, so you got both correct there. You basically hit the over with just the Ravens score. The 47. Yes.
So how many did I finish there with? I got 4. I think I get 19 out of 32. It's just not too bad.
Yeah, you done quite well this week on that. I noticed. I was not too great. I just kept getting like one part of stuff correct. I was quite proud of the Bears one though. The Bears one was prediction was good, considering the Texans were favourites.
That Ravens game last night though, I think there was quite a few of us on the chat, and it's one of the best games I've watched as a neutral. Just end.
Aye.
Even though you think it's going to go to overtime and it doesn't. Lamar Jackson comes in for needing a shite.
Aye. That was a great game, as you say. That's probably the best prime time game, at least, that I've seen in a long time, to be honest. I mean, if you told me the Browns were putting up 42 points or whatever before the game, I'd have probably said that they won the game with that. But
and was it also the Browns that was the first time? Because I think similar, the Bills was the first time they featured in Sunday Night Football in like a decade, and I think it might have been the same for the Browns last night. I don't think so.
But it might have been because they've been poor.
That's what I mean. So they've saved it for the right time.
They've been. I did say that they've been good this season on Friday there. So, I think they'll be a match for anyone in the playoffs. They can run the ball, and if Baker's on form, then it's quite a dangerous offense, to be honest. Especially against the Baltimore Ravens D, which is usually quite good, but last night they weren't. But, that covers our bets then. So we'll just kind of recap our starts of the week as well then. Quarterback position, I took Justin Herbert. I said he'd get at least 20 points. He got 19.72, so I was just a ball hair off that. But I would still say he was a success, to be honest. Nearly enough 20 points from your quarterback's always good. So
Big Ben, and I think he got about 17.5 or so. So that was down. I wouldn't really call that a very good prediction personally. So
I think he was sitting in somebody's bench anyway that was on a bye week or something, wasn't he?
Aye. So nobody trusted me on that one. Although my back, Mr. Jonathan Taylor versus the Raiders D, got me a cool 29.5 points and also helped.
And me.
Start Fairfield there to a victory.
I think it was 150 yards and 2 touchdowns or something, I think he got.
Aye, so I got that one. I'll take a wee thumbs up on that. It's my star play of the week.
Similarly, my running back was just shy of your one. David Montgomery ended up with 23 points, and he got 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. 113 yards and 1 touchdown. Sorry, I'd predicted the 130 and 2. 113 yards and 1 touchdown, 23 points. So, that was a success as well.
To be fair,
I would say.
I think there was probably about half the running backs this week you could have picked, and shocking this week. I think there was a fair amount of running backs that popped up with 20 plus points this week.
Definitely.
I'll get yourself a pat on the back.
Got to pick the right one. My wide receiver was not as high scoring as they two, but still a success, I would say. 13.7 points. Robbie Anderson, 8 receptions, 84 yards. If he had got a touchdown in that game, he would have been about the 20-point mark or something. So, just a touchdown missing for that, but 13.7 points, I would probably say, is a success for a kind of second-tier receiver.
Well, Tyler let me down against the Jets defence. He only picked up 52 yards for 5 receptions. So I get 7.7 points, which is as bog standard average as you can get. So it was all
at least in a goose egg.
Aye. Like Devontae Parker. I'm glad I never put
both were tight ends for shockers, but we were trying to pick kind of deeper guys that were available for tight ends, because basically for a tight end to be top 12, they just need a touchdown really, and they'll be in the top 12 at the position. So mine's Jordan Akins, 3.5 points, 3 receptions for 20 yards. He was wide open for a touchdown as well in the end zone, and I don't know what he was doing with his arms. He should have caught it, but I don't know what he was doing with his arms. But that would have probably vaulted him into the top 12. Put him on about 9.5 points or something probably. So, but that's what happens with tight ends. The landscape's just so garbage.
I wasn't much better with Schultz of the Dallas Cowboys against the Bengals D. And Dalton getting in against his old team. I thought, maybe I'll could have dink and dunked his tight end, but not. 3 receptions, 34 yards, 4.9 points. So that was a howler for me. Aye,
that sums that up anyways. Both tight ends garbage.
Moving swiftly on.
Yep. On to the fantasy matchup reviews now then. Start off with the playoffs then, obviously. Gary Houston against Ben. Gary wins that one, goes on to round 2 of the playoffs, winning by 145 to 129. Now that one went down to last night's game, didn't it?
I think
Gary needed Hunt.
Most of the games went that way. They kind of seemed to be all riding on this Browns-Ravens game, and Gary Ben was projected to win right, kicking off. Aye, a bit of a letdown for Ben with his defence and Kareem Hunt having probably his best game of the season. I don't know exactly, but Hazard, I guess. He's probably not hit 26 points yet. First time he's been above 25. 23 was his next other high, so perfect time to get all our game from.
I think there was something like 5 or 6 rushing touchdowns in that game last night as well. Because I know Chubb had 2.
It was
Hunt had 1.
more than that. I believe it was either
Lamar had 1, didn't he?
It was either Lamar had 2, Chubb had 2, Hunt had 2. I can't think who else.
It was outrageous, wasn't it?
Dobbins
I think Gus Edwards probably.
Edwards had 1. So it must have been the 9 then. 7 or 9.
Close to a record or something.
It's the most rushing touchdowns since 1922.
I mind them saying that actually.
It wasn't even teams that I'd even heard of, so I don't even know.
It was like it was
Canadian
Louisiana
or something,
wasn't it? One of the teams was Louisiana or something.
Aye.
No, that was fair play. It was Ben that started Hilton, so maybe Ben listened for my wee tip there, but Hilton had a big game. I think the defence was pretty much the difference there. Gary had Washington had 23 points and Ben had the Ravens, who ended up with like -4.
To put it in perspective, Ben had the third highest score, and he's not making it.
No.
You and Gary had a similar points total. Gary just beat you ever so slightly. So to lose when you hit such a high total, if he'd played anybody else, pretty much he would have won.
Bit unlucky there. But Gary moves on then to the second round, where he's got the prize of meeting James, the league leader. So we'll see how that one goes. Secondly, we'll go on to yourself against Gary McNaught. You just sneaked that with the skin of your teeth, 113 something to 111 something. You just managed to squeeze through there.
I'm not saying much, but to be fair, I didn't think Chubb would maybe hit that kind of points total. I was hoping he would somehow do it, but with Parker fucking me up with 0 points, I did need a bit of luck. And it's just as well I did get it in the third quarter, because in the fourth quarter he hardly featured.
Aye.
Kareem Hunt, because they were in the chasing game, and I was like, Chubb's hardly getting in the game here. I think he got a couple of touches which just got him over the points total needed. And I was looking at it, and this is the way I was thinking about it, was I was up by 2.12 points, and I went, even if he fumbles, as long as he doesn't lose any yardage, I would only lose 2 points. I kept thinking, right, maybe just don't give him the ball.
Aye, maybe you were glad he never went back.
Aye, I was gonna a bit of safety towards the end, and
I did say that. I'm sure I said that this game it would be the running backs that would decide this game, and the way it played out, it kind of was. I mean, your quarterback Russell Wilson got back to better ways, 30 odd points. Chubb was 23, Tunyon with 12, Swift and Anderson with 13. So I think Gary only had 2 players to get double-digit points, and he still nearly sneaked it thanks to Derrick Henry with his 35. So leaving Gage in the bench kind of must be hurting, but.
Even we had with Parker, you don't know, and then the defense, New Orleans defense getting minus points rather than the Eagles defense 8 points. It's just how you would predict that. If I'd said that to you before, who are you going to play, the Eagles defense or the Saints defense? I don't think there's anybody out there who's picking the Eagles over the Saints.
Nah, not at all. Nah. So you just sneaked through that one, so you get the prize of going to play against Dan in the round 2 of the playoffs. 4 remain.
2 tough matchups.
Aye, I think they're very close.
It's my first year in the playoffs, and I've done better than Carson Wentz, and I've managed to win a playoff game. So I'm going to take that, no matter what happens from here on out, that it's been a positive season. Playoff experience.
Trophy could still come back to North Ayrshire yet.
Come on.
move on to the spoon section then. I'll start with myself against Lee. I won 145 to 116. Again, that was kind of last game up as well. Lamar Jackson I was waiting on. At one point, Lee had 2 players left to play in the late game, one of the late games on Sunday, I think it was, and he was already up on me, so I was fearing the worst. But it was Claypool and I can't remember, a running back, I'm sure, Claypool and somebody. Claypool only got like 1 point or 2 points or something, and the running back never done much. So
they've been Connor against the Bills.
That's what it was. So they two never done too much. So I only had Lamar, and I think the Steelers defence as well, obviously. So I managed to pull through with Lamar. That's probably his best game of the season as well. 37 points.
I would say so. I don't think he's hit that high because he had 2 touchdowns and even a few thrown. His next highest was he just hit the 33 mark. A couple of games at 29 and 30, so best one of the season. Nice to get.
Between him and Jonathan Taylor, that done me well. 60 odd points between the two, and then add Chris Carson to that. I mean, Lee and Ridley, Gesicki, Chicago defense. They put up Ridley and Gesicki 22 and 21 points, and Chicago put up 18. So that was a good matchup. So it was. Andy and Pedro next. Andy, we mentioned this. Andy was the top scorer going into this in the league, and Pedro was the lowest, and it basically worked out that exact way. I think Andy was the highest scorer on the week again.
Sorry, I've missed his score. He did have a good score.
Andy wins that 151 to 101. So 6 players over 18 points for Andy, and only 2 for Pedro. Just about sums that one up, really.
Again, when you look at it, Andy's team was unlucky not to win the playoffs. He would probably have he had that really good start in the points total, and then the weeks that he's not doing as well, he's jumping up to 151 points, and that's enough to beat any. And you're not in the playoffs. He just been that wee bit. I think he lost to me by a point, or Gary by a point. I can't remember who it was, but he's dead unlucky not to.
I think the Drew Brees situation, him getting injured, hurt him a bit because Taysom Hill doesn't check down to Kamara as much as Brees does. So Kamara's not putting up the numbers that he was, but I can't remember if that was before. It would have been before he was mathematically out, kind of thing. So that was about 4 weeks ago now. So very unlucky for Andy. So it is. Not really much else you can say. That's fantasy football, though, isn't it? That's what happens. And lastly, I believe, is Robert against Clark. Clark's very, very, very lucky, man. Wins 105.54 to 105.46. How he got away with the no points for Landry taking that safety and Landry not losing the yards on the tackle for it as well is unbelievable.
I think that's one I'll be requesting that the AGM is changed, because I definitely think if your team takes a safety, you should lose points, because it's a big...
Especially if it's the single player that you've got. If it's him that's tackled for that safety, I definitely think he should lose points, because it was Landry that got tackled. So
9 times out of 10 it's a quarterback. Lose the points
or the yards.
9 times out of 10 it's a quarterback, and then there's the odd time it's a running back. But for it to be a wide receiver, that's...
Very, very, very lucky for Clark, but he'll take it. I suppose.
Again, he's your star man of the week in his team, Montgomery, so he's actually been a difference maker with 23 points. So yeah.
0.08 points of a difference in that one. So that's maybe even the closest matchup we've had this season.
Aye, what did you say, 0.08?
Aye.
It's crazy.
Aye. If it's not the closest, it's definitely up there anyways.
Aye, I think I've lost a game by 0.1, but I don't think I've lost a game by 0.0 something.
Yeah. We'll have to check on that at some point when we review like the league as a whole kind of thing.
That might be a new record. Clark holds a new record for.
Aye. So Aye, that sums up the matchups. Round 2 playoffs, Gary Houston against James, Riley v Dan. The winners' consolation bracket is Gary McNaught against Ben. And then the spoon matchups are obviously don't really matter apart from pride. But next week's matchups, Clark v Andy, myself against Pedro, and Lee against Robert.
Am I right in saying that you were talking today about the fact that it's just whoever gets the most wins overall? Does it get added to the existing table, I'm assuming? And then who's got the least amount of wins ends up in last place? Just that.
Not sure.
I've not seen it this style before. So
I'm not sure how it works. I've wrote down like the records. I thought it got added onto your record kind of thing, and you're basically just playing to not finish bottom of the league standings.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So I know that moves Robert and Lee both on to 5 and 9, and then there's 4 of us: Pedro, Andy, myself, and Clark on 6 and 8 now. After this week's matchups, if it adds up to that way, I'd imagine it does.
We'll see anyway. Somebody's.
Aye.
We went to the next.
NFL matchups in it.
Aye.
Just a wee review.
Aye, I think we sort of covered some of them in the bets.
Yeah. We touched on the Browns Ravens quite a bit, didn't we? So
the kind of big games of the week. That Panthers Broncos game was quite a high scoring game. And to be fair, looking at there was actually a fair amount of high scoring games. You touched on the Dolphins and Chiefs. That was one of the more exciting games.
Again,
comeback and
Xavier Howard, unbelievable, another interception. We've got the longest running record in the NFL of consecutive takeaways. It's like 19 games. That's Howard leading the league in interceptions still. 3 picks on Mahomes as well. That's something he's not done this season. 4 takeaways in total in that game. So I said earlier that I was very proud of the Dolphins. I feel we were very unlucky not to win this game. 2 or 3 chances that we took the ball off Chiefs early to put points on the board, and that was probably the difference. But see, in the end, we had 3 rookies on the offensive line starting all game. At one point, Parker, Gesicki and Grant all went out injured. So we never had any first string receivers in the game either. And Tua still went up in the 4th quarter and put in 2 touchdowns and whatever many 200 yards or whatever he put up. So that was even more impressive that Tua managed to do that without any talent there to throw the ball to, basically.
Especially,
so I hope
especially with Parker missing. Asshole. I'll jump onto my Eagles versus the Saints. It was a good performance, stretching out to 17-0, and I think it was in the first half or early in the 3rd quarter. It was a good first game for Jalen Hurts. It just seems to be people were sort of saying they thought it was maybe a different offense that Doug was running, but for me it was more Jalen just offers a different option. As a defense, you have to protect against the run, and Sanders running, Hurts running, and Hurts having a decent arm on him. So it just showed you, and I think that's the difference, that teams don't really have to worry about Carson. He can run, but he doesn't run. He's not like an athletic quarterback who can, like a Lamar or a Murray or a Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So it was a good win for the Eagles. Came down with that onside kick, but I just got there.
What about that Vikings kicker in the Vikings-Bucks game?
He negative points, I believe.
He missed 3 field goals and 1 extra point, so that's 10 points for the game, which would have only made the Bucks lead 26-24 in the 4th quarter, and the Vikings had the ball, albeit they threw an interception or they got it taken away in the 4th quarter with like 2 minutes left or whatever. But if there was only 2 points in it, then they would have probably ran the ball in that situation to run the clock down and stuff. So
And Reid have got our bets up.
Nah, he would have took the field goal that he would have missed anyway, so they'd still get beat, but only by 2.
I think we're lucky.
Aye.
I think the other kind of main big matchups that we kind of the Giants were poor against the Cardinals. Sorry, Gary. But,
aye. Kyler looked a wee bit better this week, so he did. Kyler Murray looked a bit better. Minshew, the Jags game, Minshew came back in.
He came back in for. Aye.
He's been named starter for this upcoming week as well, so the moustache Minshew mania is back.
Have you ever seen so many quarterbacks in one team? and now. It's like musical chairs.
I think the only other thing that I can think of, I don't want to cover like the Seahawks, Jets and all that, because there was nothing really major that happened in like any of the kind of games, but there was a lot. There was 3 at least off the top of my head, maybe about 4 interceptions that were like one-handed grabs, like one-handed interceptions, or unbelievable plays on the ball from the cornerbacks or the people that were intercepting it. Like you had the Xavier Howard one, you had the Jets cornerback, Marcus May. There was another brilliant one. What game was that in? Was it the Colts? I think it was the Colts one-handed interception in the end zone the Colts had. There was a few great interceptions, so there was made a great athletic plays made for the defensive backs in some of the games.
Aye, good. It was a good week for Red Zone if you like just watching random games, and then maybe not that Bills Steelers game. I wasn't a massive fan of that one, but we finished with a really good one at the end of the week. And just maybe touch on the fact that this week is the Thursday night and Saturday night games. So
yeah.
Thursday night we have the Raiders Chargers, which we should be moving on to a prediction for that then.
Aye, go for it.
So the Raiders are minus 3.5. That's the spread, and it's over 53.5. So my prediction there would probably be the under, and I'll take the Chargers minus 3.5. Plus 3.5, I should say. Chargers would be plus 3.5.
Aye. I think Keenan Allen's a bit banged up, but if Keenan Allen plays and he's healthy, I would take the Chargers plus the 3.5 as well. I would take the over though. I think both defenses are crap, and both quarterbacks can throw it deep. Derek Carr had a good game again, I think, on Sunday there, or whenever they played. So Herbert was a bit better. So I think I would take the Chargers plus the 3.5 and the over 53.5 on that one. I think that could be a wee bit of a shootout for Thursday night football.
Well, at least we'll know going with the exact same then. That's the wee bit interesting to see who can come out on top.
Yeah.
I think that would summarise everything I was thinking about.
I don't have much more.
Overall, good week of fantasy football and games. I went down to the wire. Let's say there was some people unlucky, some got lucky, but overall, it was a really good fantasy football week. So, best of luck to Dan, Gary, and James, and everybody else in the Spoon Trophy as well. Get into this one.
Do you not mean just good luck to James and?
Well, aye.
Who did you say?
James and Gary. It's only customary to say good luck to the opponent as well. Take a leg.
No, I think that sums it up anyway. You've kind of done a wee good outro there, so you did. So, good luck to everybody still involved in the playoffs. I'll be looking on closely, and I hope it's all good matchups and injury free, so that everybody's got their best players available. That's what you want.
Yeah. Parker hopefully decides to turn up after 2 shocking weeks. See though, if he doesn't get ejected, he just gets injured. So,
so we'll be back on Friday night again, previewing the Sunday fantasy matchups and the Sunday NFL matchups, giving more bets again, and what else was I going to add in there? I will probably cover a wee couple of injuries if there's anything major out there on Friday. So hopefully you enjoy again, and we'll catch you on Friday.
cheers, till next time.
Adios.